Good day to you. It is with pleasure and joy that I welcome you to the very last day in the year 2023. God has been gracious. My name is Olagunju. I have a nugget to share with you from the book of Joshua in chapter 3. That's the portion of the Bible where Israel as a nation crossed the river Jordan. And in verse 15 of that passage of scripture, I see something similar to where we stand today. Today we stand at the threshold of another year, 2024. And it is not unlikely that many of us may have emotions that are similar to what the nation of Israel in those days had as they stood beside the river Jordan about to cross. The first thing of note is that in verse 15 of Joshua chapter 3, the Bible tells us that the river Jordan had overflowed its banks and it was the time of harvest. And the river was not supposed to part unless the priests bring their feet to be dipped in the water. So this morning, as we stand beside our own river Jordan, on the brink of entering into another year, 2024, I understand that many of us may have worries like they did in those days, may have concerns that are legitimate. For example, when a river overflows its banks, nobody wants to dare to play around the river, not to talk of dip your feet in that overflowing river. There are dangers, and the mind will play tricks and ask questions. What if? What if this happens? What if that happens? And many of us may be in such a situation today where we are wondering, what will happen to me in 2024? Am I crossing right? What will be the consequences of my mistakes that I have made in year 2023? I wish I handled some things better the last 2 months so that my crossing at this time will be at an advantage, because maybe it seems like a disadvantage where you are standing right now. Those worries are legitimate. Those concerns are legitimate. But I'd like you to know something. The river the fact that Jordan overflows its banks does not mean you will not cross over. Because if you look at verse 16 of Joshua 3, God indeed parted the river Jordan. Yes, that's all most of us will see. But you see, it explains that upstream, God went as far as 19 miles in a city called Adam to stop the flow of the water so that the river would not overwhelm the Israelites as they crossed. He also went downstream, close to the Dead Sea, the Salt Sea, 126 miles downstream, stopping the flow from both sides, ensuring safety for the children of Israel as they crossed Jordan. And that is exactly the same thing that God is doing for you and I as we cross into the new year come midnight today. You know something? God works behind the scene. There is no way to see 19 miles from wherever you are standing, even when it is a clear horizon. There may be no houses, no trees, but you can't possibly see 19 miles from where you are, not to talk of 126 miles. So behind the scene, unknown to you, you don't have to worry about how it's going to be done, because God is not idle. God is mindful of us and is working to make sure that He does everything to make 2024 the kind of year it should be to us for His glory. You know, God is invested in us. God has a plan for us, and that plan will not be truncated by any devil. That's why this morning I'm going to tell you, cross with confidence into the new year. That new year will favor you. It will be to your benefit because God is invested in you. Happy New Year in advance.